I officially have too much lip gloss on. Yeah. What is up, you guys? Welcome back. Today we are talking all things Glossier. Glossier is celebrating their 5th birthday, so happy birthday balm.com, Glossier. You see what I did there? Yeah. I've been a Glossier rep for about 2.5 years now. It has been one of the most positive experiences in the lifetime of my channel. Their encouragement, them believing in me from the very beginning of my channel, basically, reaching out to me, saying, do you want to represent our company as we grow? I was like, okay. Quitting is off the table now. Someone believes in me. And that's just a really big, cool landmark for me. So anyway, instead of doing a top 5, just because I realized there are so many more things that I want to talk about, I thought I would do like a hits and misses. I think that it's much more valuable, especially for people who are unfamiliar with Glossier as a brand, for me to kind of give you guys a tour, you know? So we're just going to jump in from the beginning. I'm going to read Emily's sweet message about when they first started the brand and launched it, the first release of like Glossier 1.0 in the products, and then we will move into a review of all of the makeup items. So let's jump in. So I think she put this out yesterday. It says, today is Glossier Inc.'s 5-year anniversary. 5 years ago, a group of us you could count on 2 hands, beleaguered by all-nighters and fueled by adrenaline, hope, and Dunkin' Donuts coffee, huddled around a monitor in downtown New York and watched the first orders trickle in. 8:02 a.m., 2 orders, 8:10 a.m., 6 orders. By the end of that first day, we'd introduced the first 4 Glossier products: Balm.com, Priming Moisturizer, Soothing Face Mist, and Perfecting Skin Tint. And our Skin First, Makeup Second philosophy to 953 customers. Considering that we really truly had zero clue whether anyone would care, this was a big number. We were tired, but we were happy. We were excited, we were scared, we were passionate. We wanted to create something good for people, and we were together. Our hearts were on the line. Like 953, I want to say I didn't have many more subscribers than that when they first reached out to me and asked me to be a rep. Glossier has always managed to keep their eye on the ball, even as they're like $1 billion valued company. Now I feel like they still keep the individual in mind. They listen to their customers. And I think that from the standpoint of where makeup was in 2014, Glossier had a brand new idea that started a brand new conversation around less makeup. People were like, oh, I want you to put on less makeup. They were like, we're going to make makeup that is less makeup. And I have always really dug them for that reason. So I think the first really big landmark makeup release of my tenure as a Glossier rep was this. This is Wowder. There had been all of these liquid cream, very bouncy gel kind of products. There was the skin tint, there was the stretch concealer, both of which I really, really love, both of which I'm wearing right now. And they were always the Glossier aesthetic. I think it was a little bit of a game changer for Glossier to say, we're putting out a powder. People were like, wait. I thought we were like anti-cake face here. They're like, no, this is different. The first time any rumblings started about Wowder was on Jackie Aina's channel. They had sent it to, I'm not sure if she was the only one, but she was definitely like the biggest one that they sent it to. And she was talking about it with the brand name Wowder, but she never said Glossier. She wasn't allowed to say Glossier, but the sleuths on the Glossier subreddit like cracked it wide open really quickly. That community is insatiable, and they found the copyright, it's public information, you know, for Wowder by Glossier, and like, you know, it became common knowledge before it came out, and then we were all just kind of like waiting. This is one of those things where I love it, I really do. It's a beautiful product, and when I say that Glossier came about powder differently, this is an interesting consistency. It definitely has, I don't want to say bigger particles, but it feels more moisturizing when you put it on your skin. It doesn't necessarily mattify. It's almost like they've managed to like dehydrate a cream product. That's probably like molecularly, scientifically completely incorrect, but it's definitely how it feels. Like when you put it on your skin on top of something that is dewy, or you want to put something dewy on top of it, there's so minor to no disruption because it has like a really, really good skin finish. So that was my first experience really working with a powder that worked like that. I've definitely come across powders like that since, or that are kind of going for the same thing, but it was a groundbreaking idea to have a powder that didn't behave like a powder. One of the biggest products that was like viral before I even came on as a rep was the cloud paint. And so when they first introduced me to the brand as a rep, they sent me this whole box of things to try, and this was among them, not this particular one. But this is the cloud paint. This is in Beam. This was my favorite shade in their original release of the cloud paint. It came out alongside, I want to say like one of the award shows or something. It got on a bunch of celebrities' faces, really, really cool. And it was a sensation because nothing behaves like this. I have 2 shades on my face right now. We're gonna get to the other one in a second. But cloud paint is one of the most attempted to be mimicked products that I've ever encountered. Pretty much everybody wants to make cloud paint and no one can seem to figure out how. I've tried tons of cream blushes and I've tried tons of these like tube blushes. This is just different. It has a little bit more of a powdery consistency to it when it goes on. There's nothing that stays super balmy, but it doesn't go completely matte on the skin, but it does dry down. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting stuff. You can put it on with a sponge, but you can also just put it on with your fingers. And I think that's one of the things that Glossier has always put a lot of emphasis on, was makeup that was easy enough that you could just put it on with your fingers. Now, all of those shades were fine for me, the initial release. It was Beam, Puff, Dusk, and Haze. They were really, really good for me, but they weren't as good for deeper skin tones. Especially the paler shades had a little bit too much kind of white backing them, and they tended to go a little bit ashy on deeper skin tones. This is the first time in my kind of consciousness of the brand where Glossier heard the consumer loud and clear, and they're like, we're gonna put out some shades that don't do that. So this was part of the release. There were 2. There was one called Dawn, that is a bright orange, and I thought it was gonna look awesome on me, and it just didn't, and that's fine because it's not for me, and that's fine. But this is the other one. This has become pretty famous on my channel, is Storm. Storm was my introduction to Nordic Child Running Through the Fjords cheeks. My first introduction to pale girls can wear deep berry tones. So that looks super deep, and that was my initial intimidation. On my channel, we all learn together, right? But when I spread this out, I mean, you can actually watch that video and watch in real time as the shock washes over me of, why have I not always been wearing berry tone blushes and berry tone lips and things like that? Because this works. And I find that the combo of Beam and Storm, Beam kind of a little bit more diffused and then Storm a little bit more concentrated, is so ideal. It's so beautiful. Beam alone is pretty, but man, when you add Storm, it just richens everything up. And you guys know I'm, hashtag more blush always. But Storm Cloud Paint was one of the original hashtag more blush blushes on my channel. And so again, like, just game-changing product. Can't say enough about it, especially, I mean, it's great for all skin tones by virtue of the fact that it doesn't have any of that opaque white backing to it, but it is such a beautiful shade for pale skin. Before the Wowder even, actually, the first big exciting thing that I got in the mail from Glossier from a makeup standpoint, I mean, you could call this skincare too, was this beautiful tube. Look how loved it is, of birthdaybalm.com. I have another one here and another one downstairs that my husband has hijacked because it's his favorite. This was originally a collab between them and the Milk Bar from Momofuku, and it smells and tastes very slightly sweet, but it smells like cake, and it's so good. It's so, so good. The balm.coms are all really beautiful. I have the coconut right here. This was the first one that I ever got from them. And then they recently, this is the most recent one, the berry. I've got the mango floating around in my car. Not a big fan of the cherry. It's just the wrong shade for my undertones. It's a little bit too hot pink. It looks a little bit too much like I've just been like sucking on candy. But for olive skin tones, it'd probably be incredibly beautiful. The mint and the rose, keep in mind, are not shiny. They are matte. The birthdaybalm.com is the only one that has glitter in it. And it's the only one that smells like birthday cake. And so that was just one of the first ones where I felt kind of part of the community. You know, we all launched it. We all got to like show our little holographic package and everybody was super excited about it. It's genuinely a fantastic lip balm. They are heavily scented. That is the point of them. The mango smells like mango and the berry smells like berry. The coconut has this amazing warm, it doesn't smell like a pina colada. It smells like toasted coconut, if that makes sense. It's delightful. It's actually probably my favorite. The coconutbalm.com, the original that I had, was original for me. It still has just such a place in my heart that I think that this one's actually my fave. But yeah. The next big release, and I don't have it in my hot little hands, is the Lash Slick. The Lash Slick is a mascara, and it was probably the closest thing that I have encountered besides like Blink, but like way better for the price than Blink, to my Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions Holy Grail Mascara. I am special in the sense that I'm never going to abandon that mascara. And it's not for everybody. A lot of people say that it's a little too heavy on their lashes and it doesn't hold curl for particularly stubborn straight lashes. And for those people, I would highly recommend Lash Slick. It comes off without going back gooey. You know, it doesn't like drool down your face again, but it doesn't come off in like the sheaths the same way that the Thrive does, just because it's not as heavy of a formula. So for people who prefer a tubing mascara, it is a pretty much flawless tubing mascara. And for those people who the Thrive is too heavy for, I highly recommend the Lash Slick. All right, the next big reveal, and I was very, very excited about this, another one where they kind of partnered with a bunch of celebrities for an award show, was the Glossier Lid Star. This was Glossier's first foray into eyeshadow, and I think these are really cool, but I disagree a little bit with their shade choices. I wish they'd come out with a little bit more of a brown, copper, pearl, creamy selection. They came out with like a purple and a green, and they did come out with Cub, which was sort of like a browny rose color. Slip is really beautiful. It's sort of a ballerina pink. And then this right here is Lily, and it is a very like purple shift blue kind of color. They have always given people the ability to express themselves or tone it down. This is definitely an express yourself shade, but you can kind of spread it out and just become sort of a glistening, cool toned glimmer. I've been playing a little bit more with cool tones since the hair's been pink. But yeah, Lid Star's main claim to fame is that it is completely budge proof. Once it's down and it dries down, like you have a little bit of time to move it around, but once it completely dries down, it is totally budge proof. Lid Star is kind of its own category. A lot of these products are their own category. Speaking of a category all their own, I would say if I were counting down my top 5, this would probably be number 1. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you. The reformulation of the Glossier Generation G lipstick. So when it first came out and they sent it to me, you know, in my original welcome package, they were these very skinny little tubes. You guys remember them. And the packaging tended to kind of break apart and things just were not ideal. They also, I felt like, went on in sort of an uneven, not very flattering, very dry way, and the pigment was pretty inconsistent. This is something entirely different, guys. This is the shade Cake that I have on my lips right now. I love these so much. I am not a lip color girl. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a lip color girl. Lip color tends to totally overwhelm my face. I have small eyes, I have a really big mouth, not these. These are an absolutely perfect, even wash of color that is matte without being drying and so lightweight on your mouth. You can put gloss on top of it or anything like that. It's not disruptive. You can pretty much put it on without a mirror because the pigmentation is so low, which is what I really appreciate. I could never find a lip color that wasn't a gloss that had low enough pigmentation that it didn't just totally overwhelm my complexion. That was Cake. This is Leo, which is just this perfect 90s brown. You can use this as the contour, ladies. I mean, if you have a pale enough skin tone, I have definitely, in a pinch, just used this as like a cream bronzer contour because it honestly, if I could, I would probably compare it to something like Kiki's Salt New York palette. The way that they're matte, they're probably dimethicone-y. Let me see. Yeah, they've got dimethicone in them. So they basically go on and have their own dry down, and it is such a lovely, lovely texture. I really can't say enough about this formula. I think that they did an amazing job, not just in the formulation, but also in listening to their customer and what it was that they wanted. The packaging is improved, the formula is improved, the shades are still what they always were, so it basically is just like an overhaul to give everybody exactly what they wanted from the Generation G lipsticks, and I'm so obsessed with them. Let's talk about Glossier Play. So Glossier Play came out early this year, I want to say in March, and it was very hyped and had Troye Sivan wearing all the different things and these very blurry kind of party looking pictures and stuff like that. And it was also under wraps. People knew Glossier Play was coming, they followed them on Instagram, but no one knew what exactly it was, whether it was going to be something having to do with music, whether it was going to be something having to do with social. It turned out to be a line of very vivid color cosmetics, very much outside of the current repertoire of what people had come to know Glossier as. Glossier Play consisted of an eyeliner that comes in a ton of different shades called Color Slide, a new highlighter called Night Shine that was a little bit more matte and small. It was less of a balmy, glossy, haloscope kind of highlighter. And then there was the Vinylic Lip and the Glitter Gelée. So Glossier Play was a really cool release, not without its critics. So the first thing we'll just go ahead and get out of the way was the packaging. When you open the box, there is also a plastic wrapper on the product on the inside, very much like one of those mystery toys. It's very much like that cellophane, that mirrored cellophane. People really didn't like that. I don't really like it either. I think they're going to phase it out, but I think that the initial run was already packaged that way, and then they decided they'd rather do boxes. I'm not really sure. That's just me guessing. That's just how it kind of seemed to me. I know that they heard people loud and clear that they were probably going to be phasing that out ultimately and just going to the boxes. The other kind of point of contention that people had, and you can see it all the way through the reviews on this, is that the Glitter Gelée glitter, the actual glitter in here, is not biodegradable. Glossier has heard everyone loud and clear on that and is already committed on their Twitter and on their Instagram and stuff like that they are going to go towards biodegradable glitter, like in the next iteration of it or whatever. Like, they're looking into it, they want to do it. And so that to me just goes to, you know, again, Glossier being willing to listen to and to grow alongside their community. I just think that we all can't know everything. We all can't anticipate everything, but also I'm really proud of Glossier for moving forward towards biodegradable glitter. I think that that's a really cool thing that I personally didn't even know existed. You know, you don't go to your like chip bag company and be like, I'm sorry, do you guys make biodegradable chip bags? It's just interesting that because a brand aligns with a certain demographic of young people, we tend to have different values and expect those values to be reflected in the brands that we give our money to. And so they take that accountability and that responsibility back onto themselves. So yes, lovely product, absolutely so beautiful, going to get even better. And also, I really can't say enough about these guys. Like, this is just a 100% beautiful wholesale win. This is the Vinylic Lip. I have this in 4 shades now. I have Bank and Pony and Casino and I don't know, something else. It is this unbelievably beautiful, super, super pigmented, like highly, highly saturated, gorgeous, glossy lip. And it comes in this interesting kind of like clickable doe foot format. For people who don't like a matte lip but want to wear a really saturated lip color sometimes, this is a showstopper. It's so, so beautiful, and it is completely outside, again, of what we had come to expect from Glossier. Everything was sheer, everything was bouncy, everything was very, like, you know, playful but toned down. This was not toned down. This did not back away from a challenge, and all of the shades are so rich and so beautiful. Yes, You know, if you're going to an event or if you're just a lip color gal, this is a nourishing formula that you can wear all day. It's so, so beautiful. And as it wears, it doesn't do anything weird. You know, it definitely has rich enough pigment that you can put it on sheer, but it also has enough kind of like buildability to it that you can build it up to this gorgeous like high shine, high pigmentation situation. So I cannot say enough about these. These are definitely, if I were like counting down my top 5, this is on a list. The other 2 releases is part of Glossier Play. The Color Slide, I liked it, but it dried out really fast, very similar to the Color Pop eyeliners and lip liners. Like they're so rich and so beautiful right when you get them, but if you for any reason aren't just using it constantly, it will dry out. So just bear that in mind. I think the colors are really cool. I think they need to put something else in there that keeps it like moist longer. Sorry for the trigger word, but that's just my opinion. And then the Night Shine to me was like a complete miss. I didn't see it on my skin. It didn't have any kind of highlight payoff. I personally didn't have a use for the product, but I know that a lot of other people really liked it. They like the subtlety of it and things like that. Maybe I'm just not a subtle highlight gal as much as I would like to think that I am, but it just didn't do anything for me. And it was a little pricey. So one of the more subtle releases, but also I think it was so valuable, was when they reformulated the skin tint, because again, they kind of heard everybody's criticism. They were like, is this makeup? What am I doing? And I am wearing it right now. It does have, like if I were to put it on half of my face and not on the other half, you would be able to see a difference. I felt that way about the old one, but this is definitely a little bit more present. It definitely has just a little tiny bit more pigmentation and like color correction to it. But the big deal about this release was that they came out with so many more shades. So I went from being light to G11. There are now 12 shades in these, and I just thought that that was such an intelligent thing that they did. Of course, when you're starting out a new company, you are trying to cover as many bases as you can on a shoestring budget. But when they got the liquidity and the breathing room to be able to make those changes, it was something that they made a priority of. And I'm really, really happy about that. These are sheer enough that I feel like I could probably wear any of the shades kind of in and around G11, but this is the one that happens to match me the best. Same goes for the Stretch Concealer. Stretch Concealer has got to be one of the greatest products ever. Have you guys ever used it? I don't know. I mean, I see people who are MAC wearers who still love this product so much because it is the anti-cakey under eye, basically. You can powder it with something really, really lightweight, but you don't really have to. And you can, like, I definitely don't suggest building it. Like, don't dip your sponge in there and try and build it because it's too emollient for that. But for just a medium to sheer color cancellation coverage situation, you can just whoop like that. There's no tug, no nothing. It has this beautiful glide to it. It is just a very, very unique product. I love plenty of concealers that aren't like that, that you do set with a powder. But for an everyday face of makeup, this concealer, it just, I mean, I just work through it. This is, you know, not that old and I've made such a big dent in it. And the most recent 2 releases, the first one is Brow Flick. I have this in 2 shades. One of them, there they are. So of course, Brow Flick was originally intended to draw brow hairs in. A lot of the, not criticism, but a lot of people wanted to know, you know, if I don't have enough brows to get the boy brow vibe, can I fake it with something in your repertoire? And they were like, okay, yeah, we can do that. And so that was why they released Brow Flick. So Brow Flick will just, you know, with this cute little pen, like watercolor little lines. Is this the first ever of a product like this? No, but it is very conducive with the Glossier aesthetic. I think that it really belongs in the collection. However, I already got brows. When I use these, I do end up giving myself too much brow. I just use the Boy Brow in Blonde. That is my preference. I use these as eyeliners. I'm not a big like cat eye liquid eyeliner person. I feel like it overwhelms my face, but I can get away with using these as eyeliners and they're so subtle. They're so beautiful and they're so forgiving because they're not this like super saturated like patent leather black on my face. That, and I'm wearing the blonde right now as fake freckles. You can add a couple more little freckles and then you just kind of use your finger and it just sort of stamps them. Because I already have freckles, but I just wanted more. And the blonde is fantastic for that. And the most recent release, I want to say, if memory serves, besides just the newberrybalm.com, is the new lip gloss. And I'm just using this as an excuse to talk about the lip gloss because it's my favorite. So I have the glitter one. It's in my bag downstairs because I use it so often. But to say that this lip gloss is part of my being would be an understatement. I have so many of them just floating around. Anytime I get the chance to like add something onto an order or something, I just add a lip gloss because they're so, so good and I know I will go all the way through them. The glitter is so unbelievably cool. It's so perfect for like that subtle 90s vibe. And then the red, it's very low pigment. So it doesn't come off candy apple the way that the cherrybalm.com does. It's like a much more flattering, at least on me, shade of pinky red. I don't know why. I don't know why there's a difference between the two. I don't know why the cherrybalm.com just doesn't look good on me, but that you can see just sort of accentuates my natural red rosiness to my lips. I officially have too much lip gloss on. Yeah. The other releases that have happened that aren't makeup oriented since I've been a rep have been Body Hero. I really, really love the Body Hero lotion. I don't really like the Body Hero body wash. It doesn't really do much for me. I feel like I go through it really quickly. I just prefer when things lather. And also the very, very first thing that was released after I became a rep was the Invisible Shield SPF. I love that product, but it is scented. That's not a problem for some people. It wasn't a problem for me, but it is a problem for others. So, you know, bear that in mind. But also, it's a chemical sunscreen. My face doesn't love chemical sunscreens. It does kind of give my skin a little bit of texture that I don't really want. Plus, with my skin's tendency to darken with sun exposure, a chemical sunscreen just doesn't cut it. I need physical barriers, and so it leads me to things like, you know, Supergoop and my Sundays and things like that. So yeah, those are all of the makeup items and a few skincare items that are on offer from Glossier and all of my general thoughts on them. So I hope that that kind of helps guide you guys in future decision making and maybe brings you guys up to date on the whole Glossier journey. I think Glossier originally had my attention because they did have a different take on makeup, and I feel like it started a conversation that was really important at the time. But I feel like over the last 5 years, Glossier has managed to stay so relevant because they continue to innovate and because they continue to listen to their customer base and make improvements to their brand. They are not just this monolithic brand that's like, here's our stuff, take it or leave it. They are very much a community-based brand, if you think about it. So yeah, if you guys found this valuable, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, guys, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. I do get all the Glossier products as they come out, so you can always come back here to get the lowdown and the scoop on any of the new products. But you can get 10% off of your order from Glossier with the link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today, for hanging out with me. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.